Okay, we are up and running. Welcome in everyone to Tier 3 Blue round 5. Yeah, round 5 at Lago Maggiore East. Expecting this to be, and looking at the grid, it is MR dominated. Welcome SkyCloud. And congrats on the pole. Very nice. I think second front row, I think. First time on pole this season. So yeah, let's quickly go through the grid. A lot of MR cars, Marty being the exception in the AMG, which is a solid effort to get second in the AMG. Because we have MR cars all the way down to then the top 10 is the next FR car. So we've got SkyCloud on pole in the Lamborghini. We've got Marty in second in the AMG. We've got Ross, our championship leader, in third. Gavaxad in fourth in the McLaren. Hennes in fifth. A little bit probably disappointing for Hennes, I would think, starting in fifth. But with the lightning start, he can get a couple of positions. And he's done really well starting from around this position before to come to the front in the sprint race. Still only, we've got 8 different winners so far. So nobody's got 2 wins yet. I would put money on Ross probably being a 9th one to win because he hasn't won yet, even though he's leading the championship. And I'm not sure, I think SkyCloud's won actually. So if she can get off the line well, although AMG is rapid off the line. So she's probably going to have to make a move to get back into the lead, but we will see. I've got Fancy Locks in the 4GT. Probably, it's still an MR car, but wouldn't be the best around here, so it's a good job getting into 6th. Fossey in 7th, so keeping it close with his teammate, having a bit of an upturn in form in the last couple of races, got his win last week. Then we've got Zab in 8th in the second Lamborghini. Another decent qualifying for Zab. I reckon he can probably fight for a top 5 in this one. Then Hurricane, Ross's teammate, they're fighting for the Constructors' Championship, currently leading by a decent margin. And he had a couple, I think both good results in the last race. Not sure if he got a podium in the end. I think he did. Then we've got Orozco's in the BMW. FR car, you would expect him to be a bit worse, but still, Orozco's would probably be a bit disappointed with 10th. Then we've got Clyde in 11th. Got Ellie in 12th. Again, struggling a little bit in qualifying, but does tend to come forward in the race pretty nicely. Then we've got Filthy in 13th. We've got Dougal in 14th in the Mazda. So another small improvement there. Then we've got Canati, who's really struggling this season with the Supra. Just does not seem to be getting on with it. But maybe next week he'll have better luck because we've had a massive update. I'm not sure how it really came out of it in the end, but it might help him. You never know. And then Gunmad, who, apart from Watkins, has been struggling a little bit with the M6. Apart from obviously the Watkins sprint where he just dominated. He's been towards the rear of the field, had the unfortunate lag problem at the start of the season, so didn't get off to a great start. We'll see what he can do from 16th. Be very interesting to see if he can make some progress. Maybe try and get into the top 10 if he can. But without further ado, let's get this sprint race underway. We've got 5 red lights. And they are off, and I'm expecting Marty to come around the outside into turn 1. Doesn't actually look like he got the greatest start there, but Hennes did on the other hand. Ooh, there was a little bit of contact there. Skycar goes too deep. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Luckily, she looks like she's managed to recover it and keep it in third. But we've got Marty leading the way from Hennes, so I predicted that Hennes would be able to jump up pretty early on. And he's already up to second. Looked like he got a really nice run out of turn 4 I think. And Marty covers off the inside nicely, leaves Hennes to go down the outside. And he does decide to send it all the way around the outside. And we'll give him the inside for this next corner. It's very difficult to hold it around the outside, and Marty just pulls in there, not wanting to fight it. He's got another good overtaking opportunity coming up, but he goes wide there, costs him the run that might allow SkyCloud onto the back of him and look for a move into this final corner. It does. It looks like she's going down the inside of him. Not quite yet. She does go for the move. Gets it turned nicely. And does get that move solidified and up into second. And can Marty get into the slipstream and make a move back into turn 1. Skycloud covers it off. Marty's going down the outside. Maybe Skycloud just being a little bit safe on the brakes after going wide. And does allow Marty through there. Yeah, Marty will hold on to that position now. It's given Henners a little bit of a lead now, probably around a second. And we saw in, I think it was Red Bull Ring, the race where he won, he was just dominant out at front, keeping it a solid gap. But we've got a couple of people going wide there. It's luckily not a place where track limits are applied for some reason. And it is faster to abuse it. But it looks like front 3 are just sort of settling down now. We've got Ross right on the back of our backside. Fossey's up to 6 at the moment. Evening, Jill. But it doesn't look like he got an amazing run out of there, so it doesn't look like he's going for a move, but it looked like his fancy locks on the back of Hurricane. Does get to the inside, there's a little bit of contact there, but nothing really in that. Ooh, Hurricane hitting that big sausage curb on the inside is going to cost him an exit. Looks like it has. Fancy's going down the inside now. And the Aero alongside. Oh, Gil, my apologies. It is Gil. Oh, Gilly Willy. I'll get it right eventually. But we've got Fancy, doesn't quite manage to hold it around the outside. Hurricane manages to hold on to the position. Saab right on the back of these, and there's a big gap back to Rotko's. So it's basically all the MR cars and Martin are starting to pull away from this bottom 6 at the moment. I'm never going to miss the opportunity for that though. It's just too fun. But we've got Kanata making progress. I think he started 15th, so it's almost up into the top 10 now. But he is on the outside here. Is Ellie going to dive down the inside? No. Cass manages to just slide in behind Orozco's. And can he go for the move with the slipstream? He doesn't decide to go for the move. Ellie's actually defending from Filthy there. So must have got a bad run through the S's. Let's just jump back up to the lead, see what we're doing. We've actually got a fight for the lead, so Marty's managed to close back in that gap on Henners. Skycloud's sticking with them as well to make it a fight between the front 3. They've got a small lead over our backside. So Marty's got to be focusing in front of him and behind him as well. Looks like he got a good run there. Skycloud going really wide again. Doesn't quite look like he's close enough. Thinks about it. Ooh, he does decide to send it. It was a very late move, but he did get it stopped. Now were they going 3 wide there? Oh, this is going to end badly. Marty's stuck on the outside. Does hold it though. Nicely able to keep in second there. It would have been really easy to drop down to 3rd. So all allowing our backside to close in a little bit from 4th. And Hennis actually got a little bit of a lead now. Skycloud sending it down the inside again. And managed to get it stopped. Now is she going to cover off the inside? Yeah, immediately covering off the inside there. But we've seen Marty send it around the outside already. Look like we break about the same time there. And then he does have the inside for this next corner. And ooh, big snap there. Big snap for both of them. That's the out Arfax had through. Ooh, that looked like a late move from Skycloud there. Excuse me. Let's go and have a look at this from Skycloud's point of view. Looks like she just broke. Not sure whether she went for the move or it was just broke a little bit late, and yeah, just broke a little bit late there. Kind of had to take avoiding action and does back out of it to give Arfaxad the position. Yeah, and does choose to stay behind. And then we've actually got Fossey up into 5th now, in front of both of the Audis, which is a bit surprising. Frost and Hurricane probably about 5 positions apart. They've actually ended up nose to tail. But Hennes is starting to create a bit of a gap, so I wonder if it was just a mistake on the lap when Marty had closed up to him. Because he does look like he's pulling away a little bit now. Tyre wear is not really a factor at this point. And it looks like we're shaping up for a nice battle for the podium. Arfaxad with a big slide on the grass there. Sure, they're going to give Skycloud the run. Can she get to the inside, or Arfaxad going to cover it off? Looks like he's covered it off there. But we've seen this outside work many times, yeah, and she's going to make it work. Ooh, goes a little bit deep. We should probably be able to hold on to this. Ooh, maybe without the grass slide, because Arfaxad can go around the outside now. Doesn't quite manage it. Was that going deep, or did she get hit there? I'm not sure. But so whatever it is, it's allowed Arfaxad along the inside. She can't quite cover it off because his nose is just there. Can she hold it all the way around the outside? Not quite. Arfaxad immediately going over to cover off the inside. Might be a bit too far. Oh, that would look like a bit of a netcode sort of lag there. What? I want to see that again. What happened there? So Arfaxad... Yeah, I think that was just... I mean, Arfaxad was coming back to the racing line, but that just looked like netcode, because that contact did not match what actually happened to the cars there at all. Oh, that's unfortunate. Manages to keep it pointed in the right... Oh, that's harsh. That is rough. Well, that has just killed that race for Skycloud there, down to 15th now, and well off the back of the field. We've just gone mad further behind, and it's... Wow. Great game, Polifini. Great game. You love a 2-second penalty for that. Yeah, just wow. But yeah, Hennes leads from Marty. These guys have got a nice breakaway now. Yeah, that is awful. Yeah, I've never seen something that bad before, I don't think. But the top two, I've got a nice gap. Arfaxad has got a bit of a gap over Ross now. He's back up to 4th after all that fighting. Fossey's still holding on to 6th. Fancy Locks is back up into 6th. And actually Hurricane's dropped down a few positions. So I wonder if he had a 22.6. Probably some sort of mistake, I'm guessing. On the last lap, he was involved with that fighting, so he may have got squeezed out somewhere. There's also potential to pick up a penalty, like here, there, on that inside. But it is quite forgiving, that. You can take a lot of that curb without getting a penalty. And he does manage to do it without getting one. So we've got Rotskos onto the back of Zab, with Hurricane joining the back of this party for 7th. Got Rotskos to the inside, he's going to outbrake Zab. Yeah, looks like he's got that position. Managed to get it stopped for the inside. Hurricane looked like he's going for a bit of a wider line, get the cutback on the exit, and Zab goes onto the grass a little bit, so that could allow Hurricane to go around the outside. Hurricane looks like he's thinking about sending it here, does decide to send it. Gets it stopped though nicely. Yeah, good move there from Hurricane, back up to 8th. I would expect him to at least stick with the Rotskos, maybe even get past the Rotskos. He did out-qualify him. And the Rotskos will be pretty happy to be up to 7th, to be honest, after qualifying 10th. Maybe didn't get the best lap in qualifying, but like I said, this is an MR car track. And he could do with something to get his championship challenge back on track. We've actually got Ross taking the fastest lap of the race. So is he closing in to Arfaxad? He definitely looks like he is. It also looks like Arfaxad is closing in on Marty, whose tyre wear is starting to creep towards 50% on the front right. which is where you're going to see a real drop-off in performance. So maybe a couple of laps, and we'll probably see a big advantage because it's quite a big difference in tyre wear there. Henner's look like he's just chilling at the moment. Tyre wear is better than Marty's, probably not as good as the McLaren or Ross in the Audi, but he has got the advantage being in front and having a gap. Foss is holding on nicely in 5th at the moment, not immediately under threat from Fancy in 6th, although Fancy's doing a good job in the 4GT to be there, to be honest. We've got this fight again between Eroticos and Hurricane. You have just signed up to the Discord. Welcome. I'll keep an eye when I open it again. But we've got Hurricane going around the outside of Eroticos, or thinking about it. So has he actually set this up? Because does Eroticos need to lift? There's a little bit of a lift there for Eroticos through there. But Hurricane's not had the best run through there. He's not on the back of him. He'd have to be a real send to go for it from here. He doesn't do it. It looks like Zab was really late on the brakes there. Is this a 24-hour? This is the 15-minute sprint race for the first race, and then there will be a 40-minute feature race after this one, which I'll also be doing. So we've got a battle for second yet. It's getting close to it. Getting really close to it. Arfax are going wide there, but it's kind of okay as a line. Nobody really thinking about going for a move. But we've only got 2 laps left after this one. So it's really 2.5, so it's quite a short track. And you can see that tyre wear is just really, really kicking in on that front right now. He's going to come under massive threat to hold on to this podium. Henner's well and truly gone now. Ross went wide there, that might cost him a chance to get onto the podium. So Arfaxad got a much better run and is already going for second. These guys battling could allow Ross back in. Can Arfaxad get the cut back? Not quite, but he does get a decent run out there. Can he make the move into turn 1? Staying in the slipstream. Marty is not covering the inside yet, doesn't feel the need to. Arfaxad doesn't look like he's going for this. How long till you could get in? You would need to do the evaluation race for GT. So if you've done all the sign-up stuff, you can. It should give you access to the evaluation channel. I think there's an attendance post up for on this Tuesday, 8 PM. If you sign up for that and complete the race, and if you obviously pass it, then we can get you added into the GT stuff. Yeah, and all this fighting has actually allowed Ross immediately onto the back of this pair. Doesn't manage to go for the move. But Mai's holding on pretty well with considerably worse tyres. Arfaxad hasn't got close enough to go for the move yet. His closest opportunity, or the closest he's been, was out of this last corner, but he wasn't able to make the move into turn 1. And he's still not close enough there to go for the move, but does go really wide. Does that give him a good exit? Not really, kind of stays wide and holds the wide line. It looks like he might come under a bit of threat from Ross here, more than attacking Marty. But it's still sort of evenly spread out. Straight, not really long enough for the slipstream to kick in massively. So who's going to make the move and who's going to be on the podium out of these 4? It's not out of the question that Fossey could even profit from some kind of battling up ahead, because he is right there. But Marty got a really good exit out of there. And he's actually pulled away from Arfaxad, who's come under threat from Ross now. Ross going to the outside. Does he try and hold it all the way around the outside? No, it looks like he's going for the cutback. It looks like he's got the line nicely, but Arfaxad, ooh, a bit of a slide there. But he does have the inside for this next corner. And Ross is going to try and go all the way around the outside. He does just about get across the front of him. So here's a half backside going to go for the move. Ross immediately covers it off, and actually Fossey's pretty close to this battle as well. Is Fossey going to go for the inside? Fossey does go for the inside. Makes a little bit of contact with Ross. Who's going to get the better exit? We've got Henners across the line to take a comfortable P1. Got Marty's going to hold on in P2, and looks like Ross is going to get that P3, and he does. Ahead of Fossey, Alphaxad, Fancy, Eroticos, Hurricane, Zab, and then Ellie rounding out the top 10. So they will get a start on reverse grid pole. Got Kanata in 11th. Still a good improvement from 14th on the grid. Skycloud actually closed on massively onto the back of the pack, which you would expect, and profited from a few other people's mistakes. We've got Filthy and Clyde. We've seen this before from Clyde. He's got a decent qualifying pace, but either gets caught up in incidents or struggles for some consistency in the races. And then we've got Gunmad rounding us out in 16th there. So it's a good win for Henners there. Started 5th, so it's good progress there, which we said he's done before. Don't think he's quite got from like 5th to the win, but he's got from lower down to the podium before. Marty holds on to 2nd, and Ross, our championship leader, finishes in 3rd. So he'll be pretty happy with that, I think. Taking the 3rd place. Good for the championship points. I think Arfaxide is his closest rival, so he ended up just beating him out there. Let's load up into the feature race, and we've actually got quite a few different strategies that could work. Certainly had a fair few different ones in Tier 1. I think it was the one stop that ended up winning out, but it was very close. So let's have a look what strategies everyone is going for. Okay, so Ellie's going for the softs, makes sense on pole. Possibly, I would imagine, means going for the 2-stop then, unless you do soft hard. I'm not sure if I've seen anyone do that before in any of these races really, but it could work. Hard's not a particularly favoured type. We've got Zab on the mediums, so he's got keeping his options open, starting on the mediums. Got Hurricane also on the mediums, Eroticars mediums, Fancy Locks, Arfaxad, Fossey, Ross, Marty. Henner's starting on the hards. So he's the first of our drivers starting on the hards. Is anyone behind him? Probably his teammate. Actually, his teammate's gone for a different strategy, which is interesting, because they usually go for the same strategy. So having different opinions on what is fastest. We've got Kanata on the mediums, Zoogel's on the mediums, and Filthy on the softs, which is interesting as well. Starting 14th. It can work because if you can make good progress and make moves early around people in front of him, you can make it work because you can get an undercut. You should have went soft hard. Your pace on hard was close to mediums. Yeah, it's rare that we see anyone actually go for that. Second stop and traffic costs a lot. Yeah, that is the risk. If you get caught in traffic when you're supposed to be doing your undercut and showing your good pace, then you might struggle. So we've got Clyde on the hards, which I would say is a good decision, starting from P15. Just while everyone else is battling on their faster tyres, you stay as close as you can on the slower ones, and then when you pit, you can pick them off one by one. Well, that's the idea, at least. Then we've got Gunmad out the back on the mediums. So a couple of people possibly committing to the 2-stop. And a lot of people with options open as to what they're actually going to go for. And Tier 4 medium hard work best. Yeah. That's how it ended up in Tier 1 as well. But what has happened there? Ellie has got a massive lead. There's got to be some sort of bug or something there. Because Ellie's got a 2-second lead already. I know it can happen. GT sometimes could have been a camera bug, could have been just a bug start where the front of the grid goes before everybody else. But either way, they'll be over the moon with that. And we've got also Arfaxad going down the inside of Fancy there, made a little bit of contact. Yeah, and looks like Arfaxad backing out to not gain the position, but it's going to allow Fossey and Ross to come along the outside there. And Ross actually loses out in that, dropping behind Marty. So is that Marty's looking for the move on Arfaxad now? Who did look like he had better pace in that sprint race, but the tyre wear is what killed him in the end. Didn't help much in the end. Yeah, well, it depends. Sometimes it can, sometimes it doesn't. But especially since you were on softs, you were going to be pulling away from everyone anyway, so it's kind of a relatively smaller amount of a buff, I would say, or a benefit. Yeah, absolutely, not your fault. You just, if the race continues, you just keep going. So we've got all these guys on the same tyres. Ooh, Marty with a big slide there. Manages to hold it. Probably going to cost him the position to Ross. Yeah, it does. Does Ross cover the inside? Because Mike's still close enough to go for the move. Thinks about it, but backs out of it. Behind it looks like we've got Henner's going side by side with Skycloud. Skycloud up to 10th. Henner's starting to go backwards on the hards, which you would expect. And we know Skycloud's well out of position after that awful, unfortunate incident in the first race. So she'll be looking for a big bounce back in this one, after getting screwed by Polyphony massively. And she's already pretty close onto the back of Marty, so she can keep making good progress when passing people. Everyone looks to be on the same tyres in front of her, because I think Ellie's the only driver in front who's on the softs. Everyone else on the mediums, and then Henna's on the hard. So these are all fights for positions at the moment. Marty just kicking up a bit of grass in a couple of places, and we've actually got Ross right onto the back of Arfaxad. Arfaxad looking like he's just lagging a little bit, so maybe Ross just probably needs to be a little bit aware of that and think about the championship, make sure it's a decisive move when he does go for it. Oh, that's Skycloud going for a spin. Sorry to catch this one again. Just goes wide, gets onto the grass. Yeah. I think maybe got caught out because it looked like Marty in front had actually gone wide as well. And I think that's going to put Skycloud down in last place. Yeah, it is. Still not over. With cars battling in front, she's got the pace to stick with the group, or get back onto the back end of the group and make a different strategy work potentially. Ellie, unsurprisingly, still leading at the front. And then we've got Zab, who's coming under threat a little bit from Hurricane, who's actually got the fastest lap, just took the fastest lap on that lap. Which is kind of surprising that Ellie doesn't have it, although she may be they may be tyre saving a little bit, depending on what strategy they're going for. But they went for the two-stop, so I would assume they're going flat out. But honestly, the tyres aren't even that far away from hitting the first drop-off point after 3.5 laps. And mediums, in contrast, are pretty fresh. But these three have got a big lead over the cars behind. We've got Rotskos holding off Fossey at the moment. It looks like Fossey just went a little bit wide there and got a bad run, so Rotsko's going to get a nice gap there. And these guys are all spread out a bit, and Marty is... It's pronounced Ellie, but I have been pronouncing it in my head Eli for, like, since they joined. So I do keep messing it up occasionally. And we've got Filthy coming forward on his softs. So he's made up three or four positions onto the back of the medium runners. And this is actually okay because they're going to hit 50% in a lap or so. So that's probably where the crossover is going to be. And Filthy does actually have the fastest lap. So using the soft tyres to good effect at the moment. And these sort of bottom end of the top 10, they have been sort of moving around the gaps a little bit. Because Ross was coming under threat from Marty, but now he's all the way back onto the back of our backside. And it looks like he's the closest one to go for a move. We've actually got Fossey right onto the back of Eroticos. So if Eroticos has managed to get through, he's not managing to pull away. Because we saw Fossey make a mistake and drop back a little bit, and he's closed that gap back up in a lap. Looks like Eroticos goes way too deep on the brakes there. Does manage to just hold it around the outside. Is that going to give Fossey the opportunity to go for the move into turn 1? He's definitely close enough. Is he brave enough on the brakes? Looks like he's got it done. Does, yeah, just managed to get it stopped. And he's nicely up into P4 now with a lot of clear air in front of him. We've actually got Fancy coming under threat from our backside behind. And Eroticos is sort of immediately falling into that battle a little bit. While Fossey starts to make a small gap. Well, this is basically a 7-car train. Yeah, 7-car train from 4th all the way down to 10th. Oh, that was our backside going onto the grass on the brakes. Doesn't pick up any damage. So he has dropped to the back of that train, but it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse, but that has gifted Ross a nice advantage in the championship fight. And he's left him a little bit of a gap in front to Fancy, although he's closed most of that up already. And that was Marty going really deep on the brakes there. Manages to get it stopped though, just different lines working out in that corner. And Marty looks like he got a good run there. Is he close enough to go for the move? Looks, but thinks about it. Come on, camera angle. Does go down the inside, but Ross going to hold it around the outside anyway. So didn't get far enough alongside to hold it. Gets a little bit of grass. Filthy getting him even more grass in the background there. And like we said, Fossey does look like he does have the pace to pull away a little bit. Although it's fluctuating every lap, so it's whether they're getting a clean lap or not. We've actually got Ross right onto the back of Fancy. Is he going to go for the moves? Sort of looking, they're just putting his car there. But it looks like it's actually cost him on the exit. Oh, good. What happened there? I think Fancy just lost it on their own and sort of collected the cars behind a little bit. Yeah, just go onto the grass a little bit, then sort of save it, and then Marty basically saves them all the time they would have lost. It costs Ross a lot there. Managed to get back in front of our backside, but Ross will not be happy with that. Not an incident report worthy, but it did not work out in his favour there, just really unfortunate. And Fancy is just counting his blessings at the moment, because I essentially lost him absolutely nothing. And he's got a little bit of a gap to Marty, so he's not under threat for the move. So that could have been a lot worse. So let's go back up to the front, where, yeah, as we sort of expected at this point, Saab and Hurricane on the better medium tyres, starting to close in on the softs that are dying quite rapidly. Probably got another couple of laps yet. I'm not sure what the pit laps are for the 2-stop, because I tried the 1-stop. But I would imagine, looking at the tyre, we could probably do 10, 10, 11, something like that. Maybe make it work. Now you could put in even earlier, because you don't want to run the softs too low, or because you can sort of balance it out with doing lap times on fresh mediums instead. And Zab and Hurricane have been pretty together this whole time. Be interesting to see if Hurricane's just working with Zab. It doesn't look like either of them are saving fuel, or if he just can't get the move done. I think that was Ellie coming into the pits. It was, so 8 laps. So yeah, it's probably another, maybe do the same again, 8 laps on softs and then to the end on mediums. And that is Filthy in the background coming in as well off the soft tyres, so that looks like what they're doing. They could go mediums for the middle stint. It'll be interesting to see which order they do it in. But it does give Zab the lead and promotes Hurricane up into second place. Zab has slightly better front tyre wear at the moment. And I think Hurricane might have got on the grass there, just on the exit. It cost him a little bit of time. So he's not threatening the lead at the moment. And somehow we've got Ross up in 5th. How the hell did that happen? Okay, so Ross is in 8th, so he's got past Filthy on the warm soft tyres. So what happens to Marty and Fancy? Marty's gone for the move. Ah, that's what happens. And did Ross get damage? He did get damage, but he gained a lot of positions. Marty just waiting there for Fancy to recover. But yeah, Marty just went for the inside. I don't think he actually braked too late. He caught the sausage curb massively and just launched him into Fancy. So he's sort of bad luck and good luck evening themselves out for Fancy there. Although it was nothing to do with him in that one. But immediately going for the move on Dougal. I think Dougal's on the mediums. You're locked together the whole race. Okay, so Ross, massive beneficiary of that, 2 free positions back and some free air to close into Rotko's if he can. And have we got a move coming for the lead? They're very close together again. Hurricane looked like he got a good run and he looks like he's going for the move now. No, doesn't do it. Zab goes a little bit wide and Hurricane gets the better exit and he's going to be under threat into turn 1. Zab covering off the inside. We've seen this move in the sprint race work, just holding it around the outside. I think Hurricane a little bit too wide there to do that. Looks like he's playing it a little bit safe. And Rotko's has kind of stabilised and got back onto the back of Fossey. Don't worry, he'll be racing him next season, so you can put him back in his place. I'm sure. We can fix it so you're in the same tier. But yeah, Ross down to high 19s. Ross actually did 19.4 on the last lap. Basically the same as Fossey, so he's actually slower than the cars in front. Doesn't look like he's saving any fuel, at least compared to Rotko's. Fossey, we've seen that Honda be quite thirsty, similar to the Ford GT. They have been saving fuel at times through the race. So the tyre wear is fairly even, just on different axles, but Rotko's seems to be handling the tyre wear better. Goes really deep there. Doesn't quite give him the best exit, but he is still right behind Fossey. Is he going to go for the move into turn 1? And does he go to the inside or the outside? Looks like he just sticks to the racing line for now. Fossey goes deep. Is that going to allow Rotko straight through? Puts him on the outside. As if he can hold it, he can get this move done. Not quite. Honda using the rotation and acceleration to keep ahead. Is that big or small? You're going to have to let me know. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But we've got Rotko's going for the inside now. It does get the move done, a little bit of a slide. Yeah, it does hold that position now. Ross looks like he's got a little bit closer, 19.3 on the last lap, so just sort of recovering from the dirty tyres and the off. Going wide there, that's kind of fine. It's better to do that and go flat out if you can, rather than lift. Not big. And what has happened there? I think Fossey, I'm guessing Fossey just missed his braking zone maybe. A little bit of contact because he was slowing down on the exit there to let Roscoe's back through. Yeah, just way, well, yeah, I mean, it was too deep. He needs to let him back through after that, but yeah, I was expecting worse. But it does let Roscoe's back through. And Hurricane's actually dropped off of Zab now. So, was that a bad lap? A couple of laps ago was a bad lap for Hurricane. And they're kind of doing, I see Zab pulled out 0.3 on the last lap as well anyway. And now we've actually got Ross onto the back of Fossey, who does have worse tyre wear than Ross and has significantly less fuel. Looks like someone's sliding in the background. That's Arfaxad, making his tyres squeal. Ross going for the move? No, didn't think so. A bit far behind to do that. Yeah, he really can. In that Mazda last season, he was rapid, even though the Mazda isn't even that good. Fossey goes a bit wide there. Does that give Ross the run? Ross keeping it nicely on track this time. Ooh, maybe. You might think about it. I probably wouldn't. He's fighting for the championship after all. And the car's going to get out of the way for him. So Roscoe's and Fossey, I think, are going for the two-stop as well. So I've got these guys. So let's check in on where everybody came out. So Ellie is going for the mediums. Filthy went for a second set of softs, so that's why they've swapped positions. Honestly, in this situation, I think I like Ellie's strategy better. Although they could do with getting in front of Roscoe's there, even though Roscoe's is on the softs. It doesn't need to get in front, but probably wants to slow him down as much as he can. Yeah, and does manage to get the position. So the longer they can hold up Roscoe's, the better for their race, because they're going to go onto the same set of tyres at the end. Ellie may have less fuel to put in, but like we said, the Ford is a bit thirsty, so that could even out by the time we actually get to the pit stops. And here's Roscoe's going to go around the outside. No, decides not to. Pulls back in, but they can get a really good run through here into the last corner. Make the move there, right onto the back of Ellie. And looks like they're going for the move. Yeah, Ellie goes deep on the brakes. If you can get it turned and fire out of the last corner. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Mazda's actually got good acceleration or not anymore. But I imagine when you're on the same, especially when their Dougals are considerably more worn, that'd be more of a pain. But Roscoe does manage to finally get the move done on his soft tyres. And he's going to be one of making quick progress through these cars up ahead, who are all on either very worn softs or old mediums. So he should be able to make good progress. Ellie probably hoping to capitalise on Roscoe's moving people out of the way. Doesn't quite manage it there, but they can possibly get side by side, not quite. Now those dudes were going a little bit wide. Does Ellie hold it on the inside? Do, and looks like they're going to get the move done there. Yeah, and cover off the inside just to seal it off. A little bit middle of the road, back to the racing line though. Doesn't feel like they're going to come under threat. And we've got Zab and I think probably Hurricane in as well after 14 laps. I think that's, well, that could be. Onto another set of mediums for Zab, so Zab's definitely doing a 2-stop. Actually, no, Zab's on the softs. So yeah, he's definitely doing 2-stop. Where did Hurricane come out? Onto the hard. So Hurricane is going to the end. So Hurricane's doing the 1-stop, medium to hard 1-stop. God, it's going to be hard keeping track of all these strategies. Dougal, I would guess, he's probably doing the 1-stop as well, if he's going this long onto the mediums. Ellie, we know he's going for the 2-stop. Roscoe's, we know he's going for the 2-stop, as is Filthy. We've actually got Roscoe's right on the back of Filthy. Good, he should be able to get through on his fresh tyres, and he does. Can he get through Fancy just as quick? Looks like Fancy went a little bit wide there. Roscoe should be able to hold this around the outside. Filthy's going around the outside as well. Those medium tyres are not in the best shape. So they could be going for the medium soft 1-stop, potentially, if they stay out longer. Avax out in off the mediums. Could be a 1-stop. I would guess that is a 1-stop. Although 15 laps, you can split that between 2 sets of softs. Henners has a massive gap to Ross up ahead on the mediums, who I would guess staying out this long is going for the 1-stop. Just whether he goes softs or hards at the end. But it's looking good for Ross now because he's got a massive, massive lead. And he's got a decent fuel advantage over Henners. Zab coming out on soft, so he's going to be able to eat into that gap pretty quickly, going purple as we speak. Shouldn't get held up too much by Henners, because Henners on old hards and fresh softs. That's a massive tyre difference. So let's just stick with this, see if Zab can get past them. Probably he's going to get past either into this last corner or into turn 1, I would imagine. With the amount of pace difference, he might even not even wait to the last corner. Ooh, brakes a little bit. Decides to play it safe. Is he going to dive down the inside now? No. But Henners goes a little bit wide. Didn't get the best exit out. Henners coming in anyway, so that's freed up Zab nicely. But that's cost Zab quite a bit of time to Orozco's there. Filthy in off his softs, probably going to go onto his, where he's going to go onto a set of mediums to end the race. Fancy stays out, so extending lap 20 or 21 is where you're looking at to get softs to the end. I think that was Fancy just letting their teammate go there. Bit of synchronised running. Does allow Arfax had through, although there's on fresh softs that was going to happen anyway. And Ellie should be fighting for this position really, because if Arfaxad's going to need to pit again as well, so this is for position. But they go wide a little bit. Doesn't quite allow Arfaxad fully alongside. But again, Arfaxad got a massive tyre advantage, should be able to get this move done in the next lap or so. And he's going to want to do it soon, because as soon as they start dropping off, it's just going to get harder and harder. He's going to send it, he is going to send it. I'm not sure he was originally planning on it. And he does get that move done. Bit of a late one, but got alongside and made the apex, relatively. So we've got Clyde in off the hards now. We've got Hurricane coming onto the back of this on his fresh hard tyres. We've got Zab, who has got the fastest lap of the race and was 2 seconds faster than Ross on the last lap. So can Ross extend? If he can extend this 2 more laps, I think he's going to go softs to the end. And if he does go softs, my money is on Ross for this. Because Zab is going to do the same, essentially, pit for another set of softs. And Roscoe's also going to do the same on another set of softs. So everyone, I think, has got another pit stop to make, except Hurricane. So Hurricane might be our leader on the road at the moment, or in the actual overall running of the race, not on the road. Getting held up a little bit by Fancy, who's still trying to go on those dead medium tyres. Does manage to hold on to the position. And Hurricane's going to find this harder than any of the guys coming through on the softs, because fresh hard tyres, they are faster, but they're not. They don't give you such a grip advantage that you can really force the move. Didn't hold him enough. I mean, you're doing a good job for now. I mean, this is like pretty much a lap I've seen him behind you and holding him up. Ooh, big slide there. Surely that's going to allow Hurricane to go for the move now. No, doesn't go for it. But Fancy goes wide there. If he can get a good run, that might set him up for the net corner. Had to go to the outside, but he should be far enough alongside that he can hold this now. Does get sent way wide though. Ooh, yeah. Let's have another look at that from Fancy's point of view. Yeah, so Hurricane just tries to sort of turn across Fancy when they were still there. Then he tries to come back onto the track. Yeah, I think that's on Hurricane really. He kind of created his own incident, to be honest. But he managed to profit out of it, so I'll be interested to see if that gets reported or not. But Hurricane's got what he wanted. He's got some free air to drive into and use his fresh tyres. We've got Ross still carrying on, so I'm pretty sure he's going to go softs at the end. Zab's still taking chunks of time out, although Ross got back into the 19s in the last lap, so it's not as big of a difference. Zab looks like he's pulling away from Orozco's, and these are on the same strategy, so it's looking good for Zab to maybe get a podium potentially. Got Arfaxad on the same strategy. I reckon he could catch Orozco's by the end of the race. And then we've got Ellie, who this is pretty much the position. Nah, Fancy is too nice, so it didn't get reported. Yeah, I think that would have been on Hurricane there. More for the unsafe rejoin. He caused his own incident in the first part, but... So Ellie's got a couple more. Ross is in, so he's going 11 laps on the softs, so they're going to be screaming by the end. Obviously knows that it can work. Orozco's coming in early, so maybe Orozco's deciding to go for the undercut on Zab. Does have less fuel than Zab, so that might balance out a little bit. But I think that's a good decision from Orozco's there. His tyres were getting low. He had a massive gap behind anyway. And we've got Fancy in as well, so Fancy is also going for 11 laps on the softs. Fancy's on hard going to the ends as well. And Ross did come out behind Hurricane, but that gap is going to come down really quickly, and I don't imagine Hurricane will be holding him up when he does get there. I've actually got Sky Cloud going to need to pit again onto another set of softs, I would guess. So the race hasn't quite gone how Sky Cloud wanted. Had a spin at the beginning of this one as well, which is what set her back. 18.7 is the fastest lap on the mediums. Only half a second off Zab, who's on the softs at the moment, so that's a good lap and good times. Top 10 I think is still possible for Sky Cloud in this, so still a decent amount of points. So we've got Zab staying out. Zab's probably going to go at least a lap or so more on these. Avasad probably the same. And Ellie, it'd be interesting to see when they come into pit, because their teammate is coming already to go on softs to the end, I'm assuming. Where did Fancy come out? Okay, they did go on to softs. Came out behind Marty, so they're back together again. Marty's on the hard tyres, so is that... I think that's the one stop for Marty. So Fancy should be able to get this move done fairly quickly, or they'll certainly be hoping to. Doesn't really look close enough to go for it into turn 1. But that soft tyre advantage is going to be massive right now because they're fresh. Maybe go around the outside here into turn 4, I think it is. A little bit of contact there. Was thinking about it. I was thinking about the move and ended up pushing Marty wide. So I had to back out of that. Unless Marty hold on to the position. We've got Clyde down behind on softs going to the... Well, he's not going to the end. Or tyres that one. He looks like he's got fuel to the end, but the tyres I don't think will. So I'm not sure what's happened with the strategy there. Yeah, he really is at the moment. I mean, this is for position. The longer he could hold Fancy up, the better. It's going to make a massive difference. If he can hold off for a few laps, and Fancy looks like he made a mistake there, because he lost a little bit more time than they had with the incident. So that's going to add more time to Fancy getting past. And by the end of the race, it could even come back to Marty. Yeah, you have no idea what stride he was on. That is one of the difficult things. If you don't know what tyres they're on, you don't know if you should be working together or immediately going for the move. But obviously if he's holding up you this much, it's fairly obvious he's on either dead mediums or on hard tyres. And it's obvious he needs to go for the move, and Marty goes wide there. Fancy's surely going to be able to hold this into the bottom corner. Zab's coming in off the soft tyres now. Is that backside going to follow him in? What is that? What? What happened there? Well, you have the move done. I don't understand. So that was just a weird incident. Marty was coming away from the outside of the track, which I think is fair enough on the hard tyres. It's really easy to, if you touch an outside wheel on the grass, you're going to get spun. I'm not sure if he backs out of that, trying to let you through there. I'm not sure he had to, but may have felt it was on him at the time. But you've got through. You have got damage, but you are through. Looked like more of an unfortunate incident than anything. We've got Ellie coming in for a really short sprint on it. Yeah. I think it was just an unfortunate incident. Marty was trying to stay away from the outside so that he didn't go completely off. Fancy was leaving enough room, but not enough room for what Marty was trying to do. I wouldn't say it was anyone's fault though, it was just kind of an unfortunate racing incident. So, who's got stops to make? Ellie, we know doesn't, who's just made their final stop. Filthy doesn't, on the mediums. Backside has come in, so I think went one lap longer than Zab in the end. But he's in ninth, and there is a huge battle up ahead. We've got Kanata, who's going to the end on very warm mediums. Orozco's actually going on some mediums, which is interesting. And he's coming under threat from both of the Hondas. Are they both on mediums? Foss is on the hards, so he's going to be, and he gets pushed out really wide there. And Kanata's actually bailed out on that strategy, going for a final stint on the softs instead now. And Sky Cloud came in before them. So it'll be interesting to see where she comes out in the end of this. So Arfaxad might be able to get to the front of this group now. He's on the softs, the cars in front are both on mediums. Henners are pretty worn at this point, but they're not too bad. Orozco's on fresh mediums. Yeah, didn't manage to gain anything with his attempted undercut on Zab, who's, I think, still got a shot at Hurricane here. Hurricane on half-worn hards, Zab on fresh softs. Ross did manage to get to the front of the field, unsurprisingly. And look at the lap times, doesn't look like he was held up at all by Hurricane. I mean, if they can hold on to a 1-2 here, it's massive for the Constructors' Championship. They already had a solid lead going into this race. And I think, who they fighting? Are they fighting the Ford GTs? Or the Hondas? Can't remember who they're fighting. I know Ford GT is one of them, and they're not having the best race at the moment. With Fancy getting in long as what's Marty? And Marty's bailed out of his strategy to go for a final stint on softs. Maybe wanting to crack at the fastest lap. Which I think is fair enough. It depends how far you are back. He would have been 12th. A couple of positions to go and get a fastest lap. I don't mind that. And he's not even, well, I mean, it's unlikely he's going to catch Dougal, but you never know. McLaren are in second, okay. So, Filthy having a decent race in 8th. Looks like they're holding on to the 8th at the moment. Ellie hasn't really closed in too much. Or it doesn't look like it, but they are closing in quite a bit. But that's going to even out in a couple of laps, I reckon. Audi, McLaren, Honda and Ford, yeah. So Audi's going to be taking a massive advantage because we've got a Lambo and a BMW in 3rd and 4th. So they're not in the constructors, pre-stewards, obviously. Yeah, classic McLaren, constructors only. So Alvaxad's still not managed to get onto the back of Roscoe's. And he does have the tyre advantage, and they're basically the same amount of wear, so softs should be faster. Henner's doing well to stay on the back of them with his worn mediums. I'm not sure the race is going to go long enough for Alvaxad to lose his advantage to Henner's. So Alvaxad's just going to be focusing forward on Roscoe's, and he should really be able to get it. Skycloud's actually got the fastest lap now. Go for their final stint, and Roscoe's makes a mistake and goes wide. Alvaxad coming down the inside should be able to take this. And it's basically the same thing as what happened with Fancy happened, sort of coming together in the braking zone. Doesn't end as badly though. And Alvaxad does get that position. Unlikely to make any more progress than that, but Zab has closed in massively on Hurricane already. Like 2 seconds a lap faster at the moment. Is Zab on for a 2nd place? If he can get this move done quickly, he can build a gap, and no matter what happens to the tyres, he should be safe. Doesn't go for the move into turn 1. Can he set something up, maybe down the hill, if he doesn't want to go any earlier than that? But he just gets it turned so much better. That is that massive tyre advantage. Hurricane really struggling there. And Zab should just be able to drive away now. He has a lot better tyres than Ross. That's a big gap to make up in 3 laps. I don't know if that's doable. But 2nd place is a great result there for Zab. Hurricane's still on the podium at the moment. Unless his tyres drop off massively, I don't think Alvaxad is going to get there. So let's see if we've got any other battles. It looks like we've got some battles here. We've got Fossey trying to hold on off Filthy and Ellie on dead hards. Filthy's on dead mediums and Ellie on kind of okay softs. And Ellie's right on the back of Filthy. And Skycloud in 10th with the fastest lap is closing up massively. I've had the fastest lap. Marty has got that now. Can Ellie go all the way around the outside of Filthy? He goes really deep on the brakes. Looks like he got the move done. And does get the move done. And can they get up to 7th? Because Fossey is on hards. It's still a chunky tyre advantage to have. And Skycloud's still got a really good chance of salvaging some good points here. Because 7th isn't out of the question for her either. She's on even fresher softs than Ellie, and already right on the back of both of the cars in front. I got some move immediately. Looked like a fine move, got it stopped down to the apex. Fossey covering off the inside immediately. But Skycloud's got such a big tyre advantage. Looks like she's going for the cutback here. Yeah, gets it nicely there. Looks like Ellie's going to follow through. And they do. So Skycloud, can they pull away from Ellie? I think they can. Just based on the raw pace, they have slightly better tyres. Feels basically the same at this point. That is a good recovery from Skycloud back up to 7th. Doesn't have the fastest lap anymore. It's unfortunate. Marty pitting in, getting that at the end. She's already got a massive gap to Ellie. Whoa, Fossey going way too deep there. Kind of works out to keep the position, turn into a massive V. But Filthy is still on the outside and on medium tyres, so can he go for the move into turn 1? No, not close enough. Filthy has got a lot more fuel than Fossey has. So maybe Filthy overfueling a little bit in this final stint. And Fossey's managed to pull away again from Filthy, so the tyres are seem relatively even, or the pace-wise at least. Let's go back up to the front and have a quick check-in. Ross still got a comfortable gap. The tyres are looking a little bit sketchy, but it's a short lap. They shouldn't die completely, so he should be okay. There's no mistakes. He should be able to bring this one home. Saab, plenty of tyres left. Probably going to be still pushing just in case Ross makes a mistake, but a good result in P2 regardless. Hurricane looking to hold on to a podium here, which I think will be a great result. Managing to go for the one stop and make it work. Arbaxad is closing in on the soft tyres, but he's only got one lap to close that gap and make the move. And I think he can probably get to the back of Hurricane, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time to go for the move. Got Roscoe's plenty of tyres left, not coming under any threat. Got a nice gap to Henners on the mediums as well, who's going to come in for 6th place in this. Or is he? Because Skycloud... Nah, it's too big of a gap, I think. But Skycloud is just in ridiculous pace at the moment. Has pulled a massive gap on Ellie, and is taking chunks out of Henners as well. Fossey still managing to hold it over Filthy for the moment. But this looks like the most likely battle to change. But we're going to go and join our leader. Ross does just barely hold on to the tyres, and he's going to take his first win of the season, championship leader. Surely going to extend his championship lead even further. Great race there from Ross, making the medium soft one stop. Great race from Zab, doing the 2-stop and getting into 2nd. Hurricane looks like he's just going to hold on to 3rd. Ahead of Arfaxad in 4th. Solid result there. Roscoe's into 5th, so a good result. Qualified down in 10th for the sprint race, so take 5th in the feature race. Got Henners in 6th. Skycloud had a great recovery in 7th. Got Ellie in 8th. Fossey does hold on in front of Filthy to get 9th. Filthy rounding out the top 10. Kanata with sort of an abandoned strategy gets 11th. Fancy, after all their incidents and adventures, ends up in 12th. Ahead of Marty, who did pit for the fastest lap and managed to get it, coming in 13th. We've actually got a battle here between Dougal and Clyde. Looks like Dougal's just going to get it over the line. Yeah, and does. Clyde, yeah, must have pitted at the end to go for another set of softs, which we thought he would do. Well, yeah, that is it for Lago Maggiore. How is the championship looking now? Ross surely going to have a bigger lead now. Let's find it. Tier 3, blue. There we go. Ross, unsurprisingly, still in the lead. Has a 15-point lead now over Henners, who's actually, I think Henners overtook... I'm not sure. I don't know. Henners is in 2nd now.
ahead of Arfaxad. They're pretty close together, only 6 points separating them. Got Hurricane up to 4th after that podium there. So you can see why Audi are dominating the constructors at the moment. And then we've got Marty rounding out the top 5 in the AMG. And for the Team Championship, we do have Audi ahead of McLaren and Honda and Ford. And the second, third, and fourth teams split by just 7 points, but Audi with a massive 65-point lead. This will all be very interesting because the next round is at Dragon Trail Seaside, and we have had a massive car update, or BOP update. So it'll be interesting to see how everyone does there. From the first impressions, I think the AMG is one of the best cars now. So that's be good news, great news for Marty. And the other standout cars, I think people mentioned the Lexus and the McLaren. So the McLarens are the only other ones in there that are getting a chunky buff, or apparently anyway. So I'll be interested to see what the pecking order is like at the next race. But yeah, that is the end of round 5 at Lago, Maggiore, and I will be back next week for Dragon Trail Seaside.